Okay, so here is the Action Fleet playset line. So there are 5 big playsets, and then there's 8 mini scenes. So we'll go ahead and talk through some of the different accessories that come with these, and then also some of the figures. So I'll start out with Mos Espa here in the front. So this comes with 4 different figures. So you've got Watto that's on this little swing arm. So you can actually see that he's got a little hook here on his head. That's how you know that this is the Watto that goes with this version. There's a lot of little accessories, just little baskets of, goodies or food or whatever. And then you've got this little overhang here. So you could potentially put something underneath that. And then this little moisture evaporator, I guess is what it is, moves around like that. So you can swing Watto out. You can also move him forward and backwards. Then when you come over here to the marketplace, I guess as we'll call it, there is a couple different things that happen here. So all of these guys here are just like some little plastic creatures. Then you also have Sebulba in there, and he's on a little seat. So what ends up happening here is you actually move this little gray piece, and that flips this over. So Sebulba sits up in his chair, or when you push it back like that, he falls backwards. And then this little whatever umbrella thing that's over top of him actually does come off, but otherwise it stays still. That's about all that you get here on the front of this. There's not really any other features to it other than those 2 things, Watto moving and then Jar Jar. The Jar Jar that comes with this one, you can see he's got just little 1-foot peg, and there's a little hole, there's a peg that he's actually sitting on there. So then as you start to turn this, there is a little pipe here on the side that you can pull out that opens up the door, gives you access into Watto's shop. So if you turn it around here, you get a chance to see what's in Watto's shop. So actually quite a bit of detail here. This is actually really cool. It's just kind of a pain in the butt to display because you don't know what side to display, the front or the back. But this comes with a C-3PO, Anakin C-3PO, that's built that doesn't have the cover on him. You can see he's attached to the peg there by a little hole in the back. So that's one of the ways you can tell for him. And then it does come with a little small Anakin here, Anakin figure. That's what it looks like. So just like he's hanging out in the shop. So you can position him lots of different places here, put him in the chair. And then there's some other items here. I believe these come with this play set, just some other accessories they just throw around on the floor. But I'm not 100% sure. The kids have played with this a little bit and moved some of the pieces around. But that's your basic functionality of Mos Espa and what that looks like. So now if we move on to the Podracer hanger, this one has 3 different figures that come with it. So it'll come with one Podracer pit crew guy. Then it comes with one droid that can hold this, so he's just got his arms stuck inside here. And then you can see the wedge in his feet. So what he does is holds onto this thing and sits right here on, there's a little peg. Just push him in on this little peg here. Doesn't work very good, but that's basically what he does. And then there's another little brown droid as well. He's got a little hole in him too, so we could put him somewhere up here. So the way that this works is there's a couple different features to this, and then there is some also some other accessories. I'll turn this around really quick so you can see. So some other just Podracer junk, I would call it, that ends up sitting in here. You get that piece, and then you have this piece as well. And again, I believe those are all the accessories that come with this, beyond the two swing arms, which I'll show you in a second. So on this one, the functionality you get is as you move, this is where, again, this guy doesn't really work very well, but as you slide this little engine part, that guy slides around. This does come off too, actually. So there you go, there's one more accessory to it. This is another one of those play sets that I have really just kind of as a display. Haven't really ever played with it or messed around with it too much. But if we turn it around, you get to see quite a bit of detail on the inside here. So I'll show you the detail here on the inside of this part. This is where the Podracer basically would go. And it's just big enough to fit the Podracer through. So there's two different swing arms here. You have one swing arm that can move around like this. It's got you know, these different clips on it for whatever the clips do. And then you have this one here, which is like a fueling line. This is something very similar to what you would see in the Action Fleet transforming playsets. So I would imagine this is another somewhat of a fuel line. And then you have just the pit area, or like the mechanics room, which again, there's some pretty cool detail in here in terms of all of the stuff that's on the floor, the little accessories that you get. So this also becomes one of those that's kind of difficult to display because the features on the front and then the detail on the back, you can't really display it all at once unless you had a glass case, which I don't have. But that is your Podracer. And then now we'll go ahead and take a look at the Theed Palace. So this is really cool, actually. This comes with a few different figures, so you can see there you've got Nute Gunray in the chair, you've got Padme holding a gun, and then you've got, I believe this is Tanaka here. And then it does come with a droid as well. There's one battle droid that sits right there. Those are all on pegs and they'll move. So I'll just keep spinning this around so you can see. You've got the Crash Naboo speeder here. This part does move. It does have a firing missile as well. And then you've got some of your broken windows. The windows do open. And then also a portion of this thing does break off. It doesn't really work very well. So it's supposed to break like that. And then this whole part falls off. And then here is the backside of what this looks like. So now just walk through some of the things that this does. So what you can do is if you move this little slider bar, it just moves the characters back and forth. And then there's two little pegs back here all the way in the back that you could put somebody on. There may be some other droids that come with this one. Again, the kids got into this one and have played with it a little bit, so they may have moved some of the droids that come with it, but that is the basic functionality of it. It's got this really cool olive hue to it, which looks, you know, more like what I would imagine Theed to look like. Then as we flip it around, if you've got the door open, you could swing the door either way, but since it's this way, we'll do it like this. This one little pedestal here, if you turn it, Tanaka comes out, shoots the droid, and he tips over. And so that is your basic functions of this guy. And then the last piece is this firing missile. So this is the plus shaped missile, similar to some of the other ones. Again, pretty cool play set. Another one that's challenging to display because this part looks fun once you have it all put together, and then it also looks really cool, you know, looking at it from this view. This is typically how I have it displayed so that you can see the interior of the Thief Palacer. So there is your Thief Palace. Now we'll walk through, you know, one of the most rare ones, the Otoh Gunga. So this has a couple different things to it. So you have a swing arm here, which will allow you to, you know, put a character over here on this side. It actually has a little jail, so you push in on a little piece right here at the top, and that will open that up so you could put somebody in the jail. It comes with two figures. So you've got Obi-Wan and then Jar Jar in handcuffs. So those are the two figures that come with it. The two figures that are inside here are this Boss Nass and then this other Gungan guy. They're actually stationary. They do turn and swivel a little bit, but they don't really move anywhere. And then you've got a lookout tower up here on the top that will fold some. I'm not going to fold it too much because I don't want to break it again, but you could fold this down if you needed to. And then the other feature that this has is you can actually lift up this this part of the floor and push this part down so you have access to the bottom. And then you can see that this part of the floor here actually connects. So when you push this up and close it down, that way you can push down on the floor and nothing really moves. And then you've got your, you know, your big OP here that comes out. And then I actually have the Gungan Action Fleet ship on here. So I'll walk you through some of the features of that guy too. Just so you know, with this guy here, just so you can see what he looks like. You can see that his mouth is closed, but he's baring his teeth. There's a couple different versions of this guy, not variants in this actual set, but if you're ever looking to find one, I actually have, you know, a few of these sets, and I'm missing one of these guys, but did a bunch of research into it, and this is the only one that has the mouth closed and the teeth showing. So the bottom looks like, so you can go ahead and connect it onto the playset. And then here is your Gungan sub. So this one comes with Qui-Gon, who's inside. So we can open the cockpit up like that. You can see for some reason they made Qui-Gon look over to the side. Looks kind of silly when he's sitting in there, but you know, especially if he's supposed to be part of this set, he's looking the wrong way. And then it has this little spinning part here on the back, and that spins along with the wheels. So as you move the wheels, the back part spins. And then that is your Gungan sub. So this one, I have two of these. This one is missing this front wheel, but there is another front wheel on there that can be used. So I have this on the set just because there is a peg here for it, which I figured that's part of the reason why they had it. So I keep this one on here with this guy. So just to turn it around so you can see the back of this. Here's what it looks like from the back. And pretty cool view. Some detailing on there with the green color. And then again, you can see through, you know, a lot of the playset. So this is actually a really cool looking one. Awesome on the shelf. Pretty fun to play with as well. So that's your Otoh Gunga. And then on to the final battle playset. This is the last of the playsets. So this comes with 3 figures. So you're going to have your Darth Maul down here. So actually take the camera off so that we can take a little tour of it. So you've got your Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon Jinn. So those are the only 3 characters that come with this. And then there's a bunch of accessories. So the accessories kind of go all over the playset. So you got this little yellow part here. You've got back there, you have the ladder stand. And then there's some boxes back here. This yellow box, and then there's gray box. I don't even know how many there are. This set is complete. It has all of them in it. So I'll just kind of show that around really quick. So I actually saw somebody else do this, that they filled out this specific playset with the other Naboo starfighters, which is exactly what I did. But it does only come with one starfighter, which is this one. Now, this guy doesn't have really any features to it other than the fact that this part opens up. And then if you move this R2 unit forward and back, you can see it actually pushes R2 up into the actual boost speeder, or the starfighter. So one thing that is important to know about this, you can see there's little holes back here in the back. So the holes are there for you to stick the end of the starfighter through. I didn't realize that at the beginning, and I was thinking, how the heck are you supposed to get this thing in here? But this is what it looks like when this is removed. And then this is what the starfighter actually looks like. So you can see there's not even a bottom to this. The stands don't really come out. You know, this really isn't anything other than just a set piece. There is a little swing arm up here, so you could attach this up here on top of the swing arm, or you could attach any of them on top of it and swing it around like that. So onto the final battle piece. So Darth Maul actually sits just outside of the door, and then as you pull back on this little box here, it opens, and then Qui-Gon